Welcome back to the Ed Show. Earlier this week, Rush Limbaugh wrote an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal. He went after Al Sharpton, made some accusations. The Reverend earlier on this program this week said that he would sue Rush Limbaugh if he didn't get an apology. So where does that stand right now? Let's bring in the Reverend. Reverend Al Sharpton joins us here on the Ed Show. Reverend, have you gotten an apology from Rush Limbaugh?
No, we haven't. We got a letter from his attorneys explaining why they felt he had the legal right to say what he wants about a public figure, which we think is absurd. So I want you and your audience to know that we've already prepared a notice of claim and we'll be filing early next week. Mr. Limbaugh does not have the right to say what he wants about any one public person or not. If I disagree with a person's economic policies, I don't have a right to say they played a leading role in a bank robbery. If he disagrees with my politics, he does not have the right to say I played a leading role in a riot. That is a criminal act like a bank robbery or some kind of murder or something. And public figure notwithstanding, you cannot accuse a person of a crime and act like it's all right that's in public domain.
Okay, this is exactly what Rush Limbaugh wrote in the Wall Street Journal op-ed last weekend. He wrote, the media illicitly comments from the likes of Al Sharpton, who played a leading role in the 1991 Crown Heights riot. He called neighborhood Jews diamond merchants in 1995 Freddie's Fashion Mart riot. Now, you say that's absolutely false. You told us that earlier this week. So it is a definite. You will file a lawsuit against Limbaugh, the nation's #1 conservative talker, early next week.
Absolutely. We will file it, and we will go all the way with it. I think that these guys must be held accountable, and clearly when you cross the line, they must have to deal with that. You cannot just say what you want, particularly criminalizing people that have spent their lives doing the opposite. You know, I've fought all my life on civil rights, but always advocated, always stood for nonviolence, even when I was a victim of violence myself. I cannot tolerate to be defamed in this way, and I think Mr. Limbaugh has to be held accountable.
Well, he says some pretty outrageous stuff, and one of the things that caught my attention, because I went to a black high school 30 years ago, and when he made the comment that in Obama's America, black kids are beating up white kids on school buses, I really thought at that point that he had done more than go over the line, and he is really damaging the minds of a lot of people with that kind of thinking in this country, and it's unfair to the president, you might add. This is some of the polling that is out there right now, Reverend, and I want you to respond to this. As a result of Obama's election, race relations have gotten better in this country. 41% of Americans say it has gotten better. 35% say it's not changed, and 22% say it's gotten worse. I want you to speak to the 22%. What does that mean that race relations have gotten worse in this country? What's your take on that, Al?
I mean, I have no idea how anyone could say that. I mean, I lead a civil rights organization, National Action Network. We're all over the country. We fight for cases of discrimination and civil rights. I think there's no question it's gotten better. Have we solved all the problems? No. Do we still have a lot that we have to do? National Action Network, we're doing that every day. But it is certainly improved. I think more Americans are more open to the discussion. I think we all unite more around dealing with bigotry and dealing with bias. I could not imagine how 22% could say it has gotten worse when we have a country now that we are far more tolerant and far more seeing people unite around issues of discrimination. I couldn't imagine that poll would be wrong. I think probably more than 41% should be saying it has improved. And I'm a guy that deals with civil rights issues on a daily basis.
Well, the American people think it's going to get better. In the years ahead, race relations will get better. 61% of Americans believe that. No change at 25%, and 13% think it'll get worse. Did Obama's election speak to the younger generation and really send a message that America can do things for people that couldn't happen in other countries?
I think it did. I think it gave a lot of younger Americans and even older Americans the hope that, one, we can work together, we can disagree without being disagreeable, we can set a tone where people can state their views but not be considered to be dismissed, marginalized, or attacked for having different views. If you take how he handled the whole situation with Professor Gates and the policeman in Cambridge, or even during the election, how he dealt with his own pastor and whatever that disagreement was, I think he set a tone for dialogue which we did not have. So it's not us against you, you against us. It's, well, we may disagree, but let's talk. I think that tone has made race relations better, and it will continue to make it better in the future. We need policy, we need substance, we need to finish it, but I think he's put us on a good course, and we're on our way, in my opinion.
Reverend Al Sharpton, appreciate your time tonight. I can't wait for the deposition. Keep us posted. Thanks, Reverend.
No problem.